And good morning. Good Saturday morning. Beautiful Saturday morning outside our studios. Mike Powell is a happy man.
Ma'am?
Way over now and then. A crisp 29.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
29 degrees. And no, it's not Buffalo.
No. I felt alive last night at East Lincoln.
Did you?
Cold press box.
About time you come back to life.
Then a chilly walk about a half a mile to my car.
Speaking of chili,
yeah,
that'd be good. That'd be good to eat this in this kind of
it
weather.
Would be.
Yeah.
It would be perfect.
Big night last night. Yeah, people. Some of the stadiums of people were probably a little bit chilly last night, but you know what? A lot of adrenaline rolling even amongst fans last night in the third round of the playoffs. Not as many close games as we thought we might see, but there were a few, and there were a few that'll be talked about for a long time.
Involving Cleveland County.
Exactly, yes. Involving
teams.
One team. And that is the fact that Crest stopped on third and goal. Actually, on first, second, third, and fourth and goal.
Yeah, but they were still involved, even though they're two very close games.
Two very close games.
Well, yeah, Crest and South Point.
That's one.
And Kings Mountain.
Well, all three Cleveland County games were really close.
Well, I got a message last night. I won't say who it was from, but I got a message at one time and said, listen to this. We're in the third round. The three Cleveland County teams that left, we're in the fourth quarter. They're all behind. They were.
Yeah, that's right.
Behind.
It could have been
Black Friday.
Yeah, it could have been Black Friday for them.
Which is actually this coming week, I guess, right? But
I want to welcome some people on Facebook.
Please do.
William Klein, Matt Hendricks, Jeff Meadows.
Probably goes by Bill Klein.
Todd Herms, Milton Sane. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yep. There's plenty to talk about. First thing popped up on my screen this morning here. It probably don't interest a ton of people in this part of the country, but Southern Cal, UCLA, is that playing for a? Are they in divisions? I guess that's what I said.
That's for a division.
Is it
one of the divisions?
So will the game winner win that division? Is that the way it's set up right now? I looked at a couple schedules this week, and I looked at LSU, and it had on the schedule Georgia, and I'm like, I looked earlier in the year, Georgia and LSU wasn't scheduled, but you know what that is? They're already set.
Yeah,
those two teams have already clinched their divisions.
They're playing.
And that's why it's on there.
They're playing for the SEC title.
Yeah, that was a little odd to see that, and I was like,
they punched their ticket, as they like to say.
And how many conference games? I guess just one.
Yeah.
For all those teams? Is that what we're down to? Is today the final?
I don't know if it's the last one for all of them.
Okay.
But
just some
the Power Five.
Georgia will play Georgia Tech.
Right.
In their last game. South Carolina and Clemson.
Yeah, Georgia playing Kentucky today.
Florida State's the last game, not conference.
So I think it's what Brett said, a combination of both. Some will play their last conference games today in the SEC. Others.
Are there any other teams that have?
For instance, when's the Iron Bowl?
Are there any other teams that have clinched a spot in less meaningful this year?
Yes,
it really is because the winner's not going to play in the SEC championship. Is there any conferences out there, other ones other than the SEC, that has both teams locked up already that are going to meet, or even one team locked up?
The Big Ten West is a mess. There's
whichever one. Okay, so the East must be Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah, that's what it comes down
to. And they play next Saturday?
That's right.
And the winner of that will play a far weaker team.
Yeah.
Because Penn State's not even on the other side. We talked about that last
week. Purdue was leading that side. I think it might be a 3 or 4 way tie.
It's complicated.
Is that right?
Purdue, this shows Iowa, even Iowa's in it. Wisconsin.
This shows no divisions in the Pac-12. It's just 2 best records play.
Okay.
Yeah,
so now,
that's right in the Pac-12.
Southern Cal, Oregon, and Utah all have 1 loss.
Yeah.
Southern Cal, Oregon, and Utah
all have 1 conference loss, and UCLA has 2.
Yeah, so UCLA on the outside looking.
So I guess if Southern Cal would lose, then it would be Oregon and Utah playing in that.
Yeah.
If they both went out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Oregon got beat last week, right? By Washington.
By Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And UCLA messed up by losing, of all people, to Arizona.
Yeah. It's very inconsistent. I don't know who I would say is the most consistent team.
Those teams
I guess Southern Cal.
I think
wins
Southern
They're
Cal.
not great. They're
Yeah, right.
Southern Cal's been the most consistent, probably.
Yep. They just popped up on my screen. It is a big game. It's tonight at 8:00, if I'm not mistaken.
It's probably the best game in the country as far as meaningful implications.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
it looks like
I could see
a
that.
lot of non-conference games today.
Does it?
Alabama and Austin Peay.
Yeah, it's the SEC's. It's the SEC's week to
Florida
play.
State, Louisiana.
Yeah.
Here's the funny part, and I know all these teams play some ridiculously crazy games, and I look for this actually once these mega conferences are complete. These games like this might go away.
Yeah.
They may just disappear because you have,
Yeah.
they might add one conference game. When you got
So you're
these.
saying divisional play, then leading to a conference championship game may disappear?
No. Alabama versus Austin Peay.
Oh, Austin Peay, those kind of
Yeah.
games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
very possibly.
I wish that would go.
Yeah, it does need to go away for
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh, yeah.
The only sad part about that is those schools don't get that big check that they could really use. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what started all this. They would, one of the first ones I remember was like Western used to get involved in those games
They did.
early on. They would play somebody, that they knew was going to pound them, but they brought home a paycheck, and every year that paycheck gets bigger and bigger, and that helps the athletic program when you're, fortunate enough to bring back $1 million, or so dollars.
And occasionally, one of those teams will not only reap a big payday,
Yes.
but get a big win, like
Yes,
Appalachian
it does,
did this year.
It does happen occasionally.
Like
yeah.
App did this year against Texas A&M.
Yeah. And didn't somebody else do it this year too? Didn't somebody else go in and shock?
Yeah, there's been a few of those.
As it turns out, App has not had the greatest year at all.
Oh, no.
But Texas A&M
Well,
has
it was,
been a total disaster.
Middle Tennessee beating Miami.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah,
that
but you
kind
know
of
what?
game.
Just looking at them, they might play 5 times, and Middle Tennessee might win 4.
Miami's not very good.
Who will be the first team in the state of Florida
Far as coach, I don't know.
to get in the playoffs?
Well, certainly the.
Think about that. That state, the colleges in that state used to rule the country there for a while because it moved around. You had Florida State winning titles. It went to Miami. It went to Florida.
Well, you got new coaches at Florida with Billy Napier, and you got
And he has
Mario-
done what since he's been there?
not a lot. Mario Cristobal. at
And he has
Miami.
done what since he's been
He's been a disaster. That's what he's been.
Well,
Florida State seems to be in the best hands.
Yeah,
it's
Mike
Billy
Nor-
Napier's first year. so
Yeah, you got
can't
his
really-
first year.
Yeah,
Mike
I know.
Norvell, in his 4th year, is finally beginning to show. Florida State's played well lately.
It's also Cristobal's first year.
Is it Cristobal or Cristobal?
Yep.
Okay, Cristobal.
I don't know. I said yep.
I always wondered if it was.
I don't think it's Crystal Ball.
The singer, was it Gloria Estefan or Gloria Estevan?
Yes. It didn't matter. Did it? Back in the day, it just really didn't matter.
matter.
Yeah. I haven't seen her in a long time, though.
Florida's 6-4.
Yeah.
it's,
Losses to Kentucky, Tennessee, LSU, and Georgia.
That's not bad.
Not bad.
But you know what? The Florida we know would win 2 of those.
Yeah,
You know,
they
the
would-
the Florida we got used to would
Florida
win.
we know would be 8-2.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
something like that.
Somebody's going to eventually start getting the state of Florida high school talent,
Yeah.
you would think. Right now, it's going everywhere.
Everywhere. All over
It's
the
going
country.
everywhere. My guess is right now Georgia maybe be reaping the benefits of the other teams being down, and they're getting a lot of those. And
Probably Alabama, too.
Alabama, I'm sure Alabama's, Well, we talked about this before. If you're a high school football player and 4 teams go to the playoffs every year and those 4 keep going, if you're the best recruits in the country, you're not going to a Florida school right now. You're going to go to one of those, You're going to go to one of those and make the rich get
Would
richer.
you go to Ohio State? Yeah, you
I would, yeah. Or Michigan, because I think Michigan is back to the point where they will battle Ohio State every year to see which one of those 2 teams does make it into the playoffs. All week long the talk has been who TCU. TCU, a lot of talk about TCU because of an undefeated season, but if they're going to get in, if they're going to win out and get in, they better have a few impressive wins. You know what I'm saying? Before. And what's their? Are you looking up their schedule?
Well, they did last week. They beat
Texas.
They beat Texas.
By how bad?
17-10.
Yeah, when I'm saying impressive wins, they need 35, 42-10, something like that.
They play Baylor
to make a
at
statement.
Baylor today.
Because you had Tennessee go out last week and score 66.
Yeah,
you know
Baylor's 6-4, but they just lost 31-3 to Kansas State last week.
Yeah, I honestly think the committee's got a job to do, and now I'm glad it's them and not me. Most of this will work itself out because Michigan and Ohio State's going to take care of one of the teams. But
yeah,
if I had to just from what I've seen, Tennessee would beat TCU.
Well, so would the loser of Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah, the loser. Yeah. Yeah, and you can't tell me that
it'll be tough if Michigan beats Ohio State.
You can't tell me that when you lose don't matter.
Out of it.
Yeah, you can't tell me that when you lose don't matter because everybody in there doing that is human, and the later you lose, the worse it's got to hurt you.
Well, LSU lost 2 games early, and look how high they've climbed.
Now Oregon's out of the picture now, but just think if they had ran the table.
Yeah,
they lost a game by 40 points, didn't they?
Yeah,
to start the year to Georgia. Think
49-3.
Now they would have probably got in, but think if that game had been the last game of the year and they lost 49-3.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't have a chance.
No. But in a way, I like that because it's supposed to be about how good are you at the end of the year, just like in the NFL.
Yeah,
teams may struggle at times during the season, but whoever gets hot come playoff time is usually the one you ride with.
Yeah. Well. I mean, there's a lot of talk about 3 SEC teams getting in. There is a wild scenario.
It won't happen.
What if LSU beats Georgia for the SEC championship? Could they go in
Tennessee
with 2
would be
losses?
out.
Yeah, Tennessee would probably be the one out. Yeah, the committee won't do that.
They're not going to put just 2 SEC teams in.
Tennessee's going to have a hard time getting in.
We've written Alabama off, but think about this. And Alabama's not getting in, and they shouldn't get in.
No.
But they lost 2 overtime games.
They did. 2 overtime.
To teams that may get in.
Yeah.
Tennessee is not in if it ended today.
Right.
They play South Carolina and Vanderbilt, and they're not in the SEC championship.
No, I'm like you.
They're going to have a hard time
getting
in.
They have great wins.
Well, I don't know
2 great wins.
I don't know if they have a hard time getting in or not because to this day, I still don't think TCU runs the table. I think somebody will get them. What they got left?
Well,
today
they got Baylor today.
Baylor, Baylor's been.
Yeah, they're 6-4.
That's what I said. Baylor just got blown out last week by Kansas State,
which may make them play a lot better.
And then
who else
play
they got? Baylor?
Iowa State.
How many losses does K-State have? How many losses does K-State have?
2, 3, 7-3.
Yeah, because
so is that who?
It doesn't make sense.
Is that who TCU's going to play in the championship?
Lose
Kansas
to the worst.
State.
That's who they're going to play in the championship. That's the way it's looking.
Is who?
That TCU will play Kansas State for the Big 12.
I wouldn't be shocked if Kansas State won that game.
I wouldn't either.
No, they had to already play, right? They play everybody. Yeah, TCU beat them by 10 the first time.
Yeah,
at home.
I think it's 31-21.
At home.
Yeah.
There'll be no home. Well, I say there'll be.
That'll be
home.
in Jerry World. I think
TCU's closest game was Oklahoma State, 43-40.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma State just collapsed.
They did.
Yeah, they've been blown out.
They got beat 48-0 by Kansas State.
Yeah. How do you do that when you were they still ranked in the top 10 at that time?
Yeah.
In the top 10?
Yeah.
Wow. And lost 48-0 by.
They were starting to talk about them as a college playoff candidate.
I don't know how that happens. I don't like to. I hope that Roger says we're in, and he's talking about Tennessee. Roger's the athletic director over there.
Yeah, he's already predicting.
I hope he's right. Because I want to see Tennessee in it.
We're in after Michigan, Ohio State, and they will be. If Tennessee continues to win, they'll move into the 4 spot once the Ohio State, and that's a good spot to be in. Really, if you think about it, because we've seen some of the other.
So you're saying the Michigan Ohio State loser will not get in?
Right.
Okay.
What would hurt Tennessee would be if LSU beats Georgia in the title game.
That's right.
Because Georgia's going to get in even if they lose that game.
Yeah, they're in.
And that could bump LSU. Even though Tennessee beat LSU by about 40.
But they still may not put the champion in.
That's just the SEC
odd,
champion.
but, yeah, I know.
I can't see it, especially 2 loss.
I'm
Only
glad.
2 loss.
I put it this way: I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. I'm glad that's somebody
I
else.
wish I did have to,
because they're gonna get hammered either way they go.
So you're saying
get hammered either way they go.
Pac-12 is out of the picture no matter what happens?
Yeah.
Even
the Pac-12.
Yep.
Yeah, nobody's undefeated.
No, but what if USC wins out and then wins?
Well, there's scenarios where they could get in, but it's going to take some help.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I think there have to be some really good teams lose again.
Well, USC has UCLA today. They got
USC,
Notre Dame. Which is a big
game. They got 3 big games.
Here's our prediction. Roger says LSU will not beat Georgia.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah. No. And it's at LSU, right?
No, that's the championship.
Oh, the championship game.
That's
in
Atlanta.
Never mind.
Yeah.
It's in Atlanta. Don't LSU have another decent game or no? Are they finished? Did they play a conference game? Seemed like I saw they had a home game left.
They should have one conference game.
Should have one left.
I think their game. I think their game today is at 9:00 at night, and it may be non-conference.
UAB.
Yeah. UAB and LSU there again.
And then
one of those games
at Texas A&M next week.
Oh man, Texas A&M at Texas A&M. That's a good way to finish because Texas A&M has been
3-7,
biggest disappointment in the country.
Yeah, got to be
second biggest disappointment in the country. Oklahoma.
How long do you want to pay Jimbo the contract he's got?
Well, I've heard rumblings they're just going to go ahead and buy it.
And I've always liked Jimbo. I really have. I think he's good, but he should have never left Florida State.
Yeah.
He had them back on the right track, but I'm not going to blame him though, Mike, because he waved the paycheck in front of people's eyes, and guess what?
His last year Florida State wasn't too good. I think it was 7-6, 7-5, something like that.
Yep. I mean, just think about it this way, Mike. Gaston College right now, you being their SID somewhat, and getting $150,000 a year to do that. If
I wish I was.
If Duke called you and said we'll triple that pay,
of course I would.
Yeah.
I'd find a little spot in Cameron. No problem.
I just money talks. I mean, let's face it, money talks, and you've always been a Drinkwitz hater.
Yeah.
I still don't blame him.
I don't drink the water.
I still don't blame him to this day. It's about the paychecks, and
of course.
I know that these people have got enough money from the other schools to live on nicely, but when you go and get that next level paycheck, you can take care of your kids forever, and your kids' kids forever,
and you forever.
And right. I mean, think about that. I mean, some of these guys do probably throw in their family first,
and of course. NFL or big-time college, you pretty much know you're going to get fired at some point.
I said money talks. I get a text from Gene Strantz that says guaranteed money talks even louder.
He talks even louder. And, hey, it's guaranteed for Texas A&M's coach.
I think we can all sit here and say, I wouldn't have done it, and we'd all be lying.
Yeah.
Because
well, I hear rumblings.
Double your salary or triple your salary.
I hear rumblings that the the honchos at Texas A&M they're about willing to pay him off.
I wonder what that number would be.
$95 million.
God.
95.
Let me think for a minute and see if I would be okay with getting fired for $95 million.
Best job in the world. You get paid.
Anybody want to debate that? Anybody say no? I would not want to get fired for $95 million. I'd be like, fire me. Here's the problem though in those contracts. If he's got coaching in his blood, he's not done. And usually when you pick up a job, that $95 million may drop. He may not go away, but
he's not done. There's no way.
No, I agree.
Now he might be on TV for a year or two, but he'll be a coach.
Well,
he'll be a head coach again.
And that, for the second year in a row, didn't they have the nation's top recruiting class? And I know they've been right up there.
Yeah,
for the last
top 5, I'm sure. I don't know if it was number 1.
Either you're not developing the players, or they're not as good as the scouting report said.
Why is that not working out?
I don't know.
I bet if those same players went to Georgia or Alabama,
it'd be working out.
Winning. Yeah,
it'd be working out.
Yeah, if you're a 5-star.
It just makes me wonder. Don't know anything about him because I really haven't done any research on him or anything. Mm-hmm. Has he got the right coordinators?
Yep. Sometimes that can be a factor.
I mean, obviously, I'm not even sure the right head coach is in place, so the coordinators probably aren't.
I know he
either.
had a good one a few years ago. He brought Notre Dame's defensive coordinator down there, but he left. He's at Duke now, right? What's his name? Is that Elko?
Mike Elko.
Elko, yeah.
And to me, Mike Elko should be ACC Coach of the Year. 7-3, bowl bound,
Doing more with less.
Yeah.
I mean, he is doing more with less. You could say that. I'm just sitting here trying to think who else would be in the running for the ACC. I mean,
well, Mac Brown,
Dabo. I still say
Mac
Dabo.
Brown. Dabo always does a good
because
job.
They're consistent.
Consistently good.
They're always near the top.
Yep.
I might go to the Virginia coach this year after the
Tony
tragedy
Scott,
after the tragedy they've gone
yeah,
through.
but he's not going to win Coach of the Year. I mean, they haven't been good.
No.
No.
And what is when did
it could be Florida State?
When did Virginia Tech leave the map?
Yeah,
because they're not on
left
it right
the
now.
building.
I mean, ever since Frank Beamer,
Pretty
much it
pretty
started.
much.
I mean, it started the decline.
Well, that started, and they've had a revolving
And I don't know if they
door.
were good his last couple years.
I know,
but I mean they've gotten even worse since then.
Yep. I don't know. And they've had a revolving door of coaches. Who's the latest?
Who is their coach right now? I don't
even know.
It's not a Beamer, is it?
Nope.
No, he's at South Carolina.
Yeah. Shane Beamer is the head
that's
coach.
right.
Well, they got the defensive coordinator. What was his name?
Bud Foster.
Well, that's not who I'm thinking about then. I can see another guy, and I want to say
he was there a long time.
Hispanic guy that took the
Fuentes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there for 3 or 4 years. Now he's gone.
And we don't even know who they're.
Justin Fuentes.
Right now, though, we don't know. Do we know who it is?
I don't know who it is.
Right this moment, because it could be changing.
Yeah, probably will be after this year.
But right this moment, do we know who? The Virginia Tech. It's
Brent Pry.
Brent Pry.
Okay.
And you can't pry him out of that seat.
Nope.
It may be a hot seat, but you're not going to pry him out of that hot seat.
I
knew it wasn't Seth Greenberg.
No. How does the guy going from winning 17 games every year, never making the NCAA tournament, to being probably, I guess,
knowing everything,
and being probably
ESPN's
ESPN's number one basketball commentator?
The only coaches since Frank Beamer, Justin Fuente for 5 years or 6 years, J.C. Price for 1 year, and now Brent Pry in his first year.
Went from Price to Pry.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not going to ask you to look this up. I just wonder what the background is there, from some of these guys.
Brent Pry.
Yeah. While you're looking at that, I'm going to tell you Lenny's comment. Lenny says Jimbo got a big raise, and he was upset also because he wanted Florida State to build a new stadium. A new football center. I don't know if that included a stadium or not. A new football center or major upgrade of the one they've got, I guess. And he was getting blowback from administration. So very similar. I mean, different reasons, but the first thing I thought about, Brett, was Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
Things weren't going good with him in administration and what some of the things he would like to have seen, so he up and left. Both of them left for pay raises.
Oh, yeah. Brent Pry was Penn State's defensive coordinator for the last 5-6 years before going to Virginia Tech. Played his college football at Buffalo. He's 52 years old. Spent a couple years at Western Carolina.
Okay.
Louisiana, Memphis, Georgia Southern, Vanderbilt, Penn State, and now Virginia Tech.
Very, very interesting. Yep, Lenny sends it right here. Prize alumnus is in his first year, and he is alumni from Virginia Tech. So, how about that Virginia Tech coaching tree?
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned Beamer. Is there a Beamer down there, Brett? What's Beamer's record at South Carolina? Is it 500 or not?
Probably
500.
Around 500.
6-4, 5-5.
And this is year number 2 for him?
Yeah.
Or 3, 2?
1 or 2?
Let's see.
2, I believe.
It's at least his second.
Yeah.
Well, he brought in Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma, who was at one time the number one.
Yeah, I've heard his name all year.
Yeah, he's thrown more interceptions than he has touchdowns.
I have not even heard him mention
How's that worked out?
on any of the
That
TV
one
shows.
time
6 and
he was
4. Lenny
projected-
said, is that right? Is that what you had too? 6 and 4.
this year.
Yeah.
It says he's 13 and 10 overall.
Okay,
Yeah, well.
that's not what they hired him for, but I mean,
No.
Yeah,
it's early.
7 and 6 last year. Won a bowl game. 6 and 4 this year.
Yeah. And you still got to play Clemson, so they're going to lose. They're probably going to lose their fifth.
If you're an AD or a GM, are you more likely to give an NFL coach a little more time, or a college coach a little more time?
No. I think you got to give a college coach.
I do
more
too.
time.
I do too.
I mean, you got to
because
recruit
your kind of players, and in
Yeah.
the NFL, they're all the same.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're all the same.
yeah. So what should be the minimum amount an NFL coach should last if he doesn't at least
Well,
break the 500 mark?
In today's world, 2 years.
I agree.
Yep,
It used to be
that's it.
4.
Yeah.
Was the
I was going to say 8 games.
but
That's how it seems.
yeah, if you're not 5 and 3 after 8 games,
Two straight
this-
losing
yeah,
records.
Yeah, well, this is in your contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beamer's second year is what Lenny says here, and I think Brett had looked that up, and that was
Only six. He's
13
6
and
and
10.
9 in SEC games.
Well,
But,
that's the barometer.
It also
What is
takes
he
some
in
time,
6
though.
and 9?
It also takes some time in a conference like that because
Yeah.
you're not going to come in and I won't say you're not going to come and change the culture overnight. You want to, but you're not going to do it overnight. And your first year, how many coaches in the SEC, new coaches that for some of the second tier teams, are going to come in and win right away?
Yeah.
You might get lucky and steal one somewhere.
Well, yeah. Look how long it's taken Mark Stoops at Kentucky to
but
get
they started this year
competitive.
like a ball of fire.
They
Right
did.
now, they're not competitive.
No.
The last
But
3 or 4
they've
games,
been getting
I
much
guess they are
better.
competitive, but
Well, I was
been-
going back and looking at previous South Carolina coaches. Will Muschamp.
Lanny's got pictures all of them over here.
Muschamp finished 28
He,
and
lo-
30.
he loves them.
South Carolina scares me this year.
He loves the gallery of South
Spurrier
Carolina
went
coaches.
86 and 49. That was,
Well, that was the goal.
I mean, their best by far
Yeah.
What was Jim
over the last
Morrison
What was
with
Jim
the doors?
Morrison?
80 years. Joe Morrison.
Joe Morrison.
39.
Jim's brother.
Light my fire.
He lit their fire for a
39
while.
and 28.
Not too bad.
It was
150.
39 and 28.
Joe Morrison.
That's all he coached.
Yeah. He died suddenly of a heart attack.
83 to 88.
You sure it was at 139? And I just think it seems, when you're younger, though, the years go slower,
Years
and
go
it seemed like he
slower,
was
yeah.
there longer.
Well, Lou Holtz coached 6 years, and he was under 500.
Yeah.
33 and 37.
Yeah, Holtz's reign was not very good.
We're going to take a timeout. And
How about Sparky Woods? Wasn't he at South Carolina?
yes, he was.
Yeah, 24 and 28.
We're going to take a
another losing
timeout.
record.
I was gonna tell 2 things there real quick. Gene says South Carolina can't win their state, much less the SEC.
Well, that's right.
So, yeah, they
Well,
haven't.
Is South Carolina even better than Coastal Carolina?
That's a good question.
I mean, that seems like 2 pretty even
Yeah,
programs to me.
Do they play each other?
they should.
Yeah, I don't know if you're South Carolina,
they
you might
should.
shouldn't.
You don't want to play them.
Now, what did you say no to there, Gene? I got a no there. I don't know if he's talking about is South Carolina better than Coastal. I think he's saying no to that.
Yeah.
They're not right now, but the question is, are they a better program? And if you were a big
Well-
recruit and you were choosing between those 2, which one would you go to right now?
Well, you want to play in the SEC.
Do you?
And
You want to get your head pounded in every week? I mean,
Well, I mean,
The ACC's weak. Where would they be in the ACC?
South Carolina, I don't think they're good enough to be near the top.
5th, 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking.
it'd
Yeah.
be middle of the
Yeah.
pack, and yeah.
They're not better than
How many of the
They're not
have you got
Florida
their
State.
schedule pulled up? I just wonder how many of the big dogs did they play this year? How many of the LSU's,
Yeah.
Alabama, Georgia,
They certainly
Tennessee?
didn't play Alabama
How many of those
they
did
play Tennessee
Yeah.
today.
play Tennessee today?
when they got swamped by Georgia.
They lost to Arkansas, Georgia, beat Kentucky,
That's a
beat
pretty good
Texas
win.
A&M, lost to Missouri. Beat,
Kentucky's their biggest win because I think Kentucky was still riding high.
Still
Yeah.
when
riding
they-
high then, yeah.
They beat Vanderbilt, lost to Florida. They lost to Florida 38-6 last week.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
So
That is.
Play Tennessee
that
and
is.
Clemson last 2 games.
not
So, yeah, they'll be 6
mediocre.
and 6.
But I
after that.
still agree with what we said earlier though. He gets a 4-year.
Yeah.
He gets 4 years.
He gets 4
Where does he have to be in year 4?
You got to go 8-4.
He's got to go 8-4, 9-3 by year 4.
If you're 8-4 and all 4 of those losses are SEC, is that okay?
No, not okay.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
to keep it.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, who you going to bring in to do better than
I
that?
know.
Well, it's always greener on the other side. Haven't you ever seen everybody jump ship?
I know, but
My
But-
question, can it be done at South Carolina?
that's the hard thing.
Gene
It's-
may have the best statement right here for what he's got to do to keep that job. And Lanny probably agree with this. He's got to beat Clemson.
Yeah, that would help.
Consistent.
It's just like
Yeah.
Dave Doran has lived off of
Beating North Carolina.
beating Carolina, right? He keeps extending his contract.
Yeah, but that's
because
a
they
big.
keep
I mean, that's a much tougher task to beat Clemson.
Oh, I know it
than
is.
To beat
I
North
know it
Carolina.
is. But we're just talking about the in-state games. If you can,
I mean,
you know,
NC State beats Clemson more than South Carolina does.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying Ohio's
And that could be
got to beat
one out of
Ohio
every.
State.
That could be one out of every 10, but that's still more than South Carolina beats them.
I'm not saying Ohio's got to beat Ohio State, but you know,
Yeah,
Michigan State could keep his job a lot of years if he beats Michigan
yeah.
on a regular basis. I mean, there's a lot like that. UCLA, he's not going anywhere, but if he beats Southern Cal, he solidifies that he's not going anywhere. You know, I mean, there's just
We were talking about the SEC scenarios. Don Revels says, if LSU beats Georgia in that title game, how do you put LSU in over Tennessee?
who lost by
Who-
30,
Tennessee,
25 or
yeah,
30.
destroyed LSU.
Yeah, that's what
in
I'm saying.
Baton Rouge.
That's right.
I think they win. I think they could win the SEC and not get in
Yeah.
just because of how.
Well, they
things
have two of the
fell.
biggest wins in the country. They beat LSU and they beat Alabama. Tennessee does, that is.
Yeah, yep, they do. That resume is going to be hard to beat.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like Roger said earlier, that part take care of itself with the Michigan,
Yeah, it will.
because Tennessee will be the first team to take that spot,
Yeah.
and because they only have one loss, right?
Yeah,
And it was to
Georgia.
Georgia.
So what does the Michigan Ohio State loser settle for? Just a
Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad thing to settle
No.
for, but
No.
the sad thing is it is meaningless.
Yeah,
They're trying to
I
talk
mean,
to the Rose Bowl now about changing their date from January 1 once they go to the, the 12-team
Okay.
playoff concept.
I said we're going to take a break, and we are in just a second. But do this real quick first. If Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU are your teams right now, and we're going to add 8 to that, tell me in or out. Tennessee,
in
Yeah.
LSU.
borderline.
To make it 12? Saying
Oh, you said add 8 teams to it.
Yeah.
I thought you meant go to 8 teams.
no? Go
Yeah,
No,
LSU
they're
be in if
they're
it's
in
12.
by beating
Yeah.
Alabama.
LSU's going to be in if it's 8 if they don't lose again.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to. They're going
Yeah.
to lose to Georgia in
lose
the
to
title.
Georgia.
Southern Cal,
In.
Alabama,
In.
Clemson,
How many losses?
1
One, yeah, they're in.
in. Utah, 8-2.
Today,
They beat Southern Cal.
You got to be today. Just got to be today.
because they play Oregon tonight,
we can't
and then the Pac-12's got more to be
we
decided.
can't throw in
so-
predictions. We have to say,
Yeah.
and
I'd
I'm
put
just
them
saying
in.
today.
I'd put
Today,
them
Penn
in.
State
How many losses?
8-2, and I'm guessing those
Yeah, but
losses
they
were to
just-
Michigan and Ohio State.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't look good in those
Mm-mm.
games.
No.
They did have.
When I go on down the list, you may want to go back and
Change
put Penn
something.
State in. You know,
Yeah.
because of lack of better choice.
Yeah.
Oregon. Oregon has 2 losses now, 8-2.
I liked them until they.
I'm gonna go ahead and
lost
tell
to
you they're
Washington.
ranked 12th.
Yeah,
I mean, I just went right down the
They're
rankings.
borderline getting in.
I say no.
North Carolina.
I put Carolina over Oregon.
Carolina over.
Here's the
Oregon.
way I look at it. Carolina Clemson winner gets in, the loser probably don't.
Yeah, if it's
Right?
12, yeah.
Yeah. Makes
Ole
sense.
Miss is ranked. North Carolina was next, and then Ole Miss
What's their record? 9-2.
8-2. You can't put everybody in.
Nope.
I mean, you might already name 12.
Well, big wins is Ole Miss.
The other
now.
teams that are on here, and I want to know, and I'm not going to even list a team with 3 losses. Okay, I'm
No.
not going to mention a team with 3 losses, but Ole Miss, UCLA, Washington, who all of a sudden's come out of nowhere to look pretty good.
Yeah, they beat Oregon.
And then we get into the Central Floridas and Tulanes of the world, and Cincinnati.
No.
And I'm not ready for that.
No, not with two
ready
losses.
For, not ready
I'm
for
not
that
ready for
yet.
that yet.
Now, if Tulane was undefeated, yeah, they might make the 12-team
12
playoff.
teams.
Who is the best 3-loss team in the nation?
Who are they?
Notre Dame.
Kansas State. It may be Kansas State, Notre Dame, Florida State, Oklahoma State, Oregon State, and NC State. That's your 3-loss teams that are ranked.
It's either Notre Dame. What was the other one? Others.
I think the other
or Kansas State, in my view.
Yeah, or Florida
is.
State.
I was going to say Florida State.
Oklahoma State has not looked good recently.
Oklahoma State's actually started knocking on that door. Let's take a time out. I'll give you a trivia question to think about as we go to break. I want to say is around maybe I've got it wrong here. I'm going to give you a year, and a lot of people will know this answer, but God, I want to get my years right.
93.
Is that your answer? 1982. 1982. You know, the Colts have been in the news. You know, Jim Irsay. So this is about the Irsay family. In 1982, Robert Irsay decided he would buy an NFL team. You know where Robert Irsay got his fortune? Heating and air conditioning business. He made $150 million in the heating and air conditioning business.
Okay.
Robert Irsay, father of Jim, in 1982, bought an NFL franchise. It's pretty simple. Tell me who it is when we come back.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call Fort Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Okay, I'm back. We're back. Not just me. We're back. I don't know what I'm saying. But I was going to say, I'm amazed nobody answered the trivia question.
Maybe you're amazed, as Paul McCartney sings.
Nobody answered the trivia question.
I'll answer it.
Okay.
Cleveland Browns.
Nope.
I guess that.
Yeah, he did. Laney guessed that one.
No.
It is the oddest thing, and I don't know why.
Is
I
it
did
in the
not
XFL?
remember this. I said he bought an NFL franchise.
Yeah.
He bought an NFL franchise.
What was the year?
82. What year did the Colts move? All right, Lenny wants me to repeat the question. Robert Irsay was 12 years old. Jim Irsay. Let me change that. Jim Irsay was 12 years old when his dad, Robert, who had made $150 million in the heating and air conditioning business, decided he would buy an NFL franchise in 1982. Who did Robert Irsay purchase?
So Jim
in the
Irsay was
NFL?
born in 1970? That can't be right.
He's older than that.
Yeah. You're right. I bet it meant to put 22.
Uh-huh.
He just looks like.
He just looked like he's.
And Lenny says the Baltimore Colts.
Yeah.
You said no.
You said no.
All right, I'm going to read this to you exactly the way it's worded here. You're going to love this. Let's see.
They weren't in Baltimore in 82, were they?
Yeah,
They were.
that's
still-
when they moved.
Oh, okay.
The famous leading.
Because guess who moved them? I told you it's a trick question.
Oh.
Irsay purchased the Los Angeles Rams in 82 and immediately traded franchises
Ooh,
with Carroll Rosenblum.
okay.
So he did not purchase the Colts. They traded franchises.
Traded franchise.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've kept the rank.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the market.
For the yeah.
If nothing else, to market. Now, I will say this. The Rams did win the Super Bowl last year, and they won when they were in St. Louis. But
They did.
overall, as a franchise since that time, the Colts have been better.
Yeah.
I guarantee you their record would be quite
Well, you talking about the Colts during the Peyton Manning era, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, just from 82
Made
till
two
now.
Super Bowls.
Yeah. Yep. But he did. Do you remember that, Lenny? Do you remember that?
Traded
Lenny said he
franchise.
does remember that he had in his mind that once it's mentioned, he remembers that him and Carroll Rosenblum did something.
So he had $150 million, and he bought the Los Angeles Rams.
It wasn't near that much money. It don't tell here, but I guarantee you it was less than half of that, I would say, at the time that was purchased.
And now your average NFL franchise is worth.
Well, you got to add
$6
three
billion.
zeros.
Yeah.
You got to add 3 zeros. You can't even
$5 billion.
They are talking like the Washington franchise could go for $7 billion.
6-7 billion. Yeah. Yeah.
Daniel Snyder's sitting there laughing the whole time. Saying, I'm not going anywhere.
No.
You know, I don't know why. If he's not into it, he should though, right? He should just go ahead and get away from that. Don't you think? I don't know. Let's see. Let's get to this page real quick, and then we're gonna take our second time out in about 10 minutes because Brett's got to take off. Just wanted to go through a couple things here. Let's see what Lenny says. Yes, he did do that because my dad was pissed off by the events that happened. So, was your dad a Colt or a Ram fan, or did he just not like the fact that they bought one and then traded?
He had to be a Colts fan.
You'd think they had to be a fan of one or the other, right?
I don't think there were any Rams fans living around here in the early 80s.
Yes, there were.
Los Angeles Rams? Couldn't have been many.
Well, I don't know how many I can name, but
I know some people that were Baltimore Colts.
We all know one that's a Rams fan that's been a Rams fan longer than that. Chris Hobbs.
Okay.
Chris Hobbs is a.
I think that's what he had on his hat last night.
Did he? There you go. And it's not just because they won a Super Bowl recently. Ever since I've known him, he was
at least he's consistent.
A Rams fan. Let's see here. Lenny says his dad was a Colts fan back then, like you guys had guessed. So. College football today, I was just going through here real quick. Illinois at Michigan. Is that a trap game maybe for Michigan? Michigan does have it at home. Illinois is not bad.
That's right.
They've had a decent season, but could Michigan be looking ahead to their matchup next week? We don't know. Number 4, TCU is at Baylor. You guys seem to think that could be
well,
a stumbling block. I don't know.
Baylor's capable of extending TCU. I really think. Good running game.
I thought Texas would be the one to beat them last week.
Yeah, and that didn't happen.
They just couldn't score.
They proved a point. I mean, I give TCU a lot of credit to hold that offense in check like they did.
Yeah.
Because they've not been known for their defense, but they did play good defense against Texas. Held them to 3. Well, it was 17-10, but one of those was a defensive touchdown for the Longhorns.
I heard this. Alabama's hosting Austin Peay. You know what the line is on that game?
Mine doesn't have it.
It didn't do it. They didn't do one. that's why I asked that. There is no line. It's they don't. That tells you it can be as bad as Alabama wants it to be.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's no betting line.
Austin Peay 7-3.
But whatever the line would be, I'd take the over. Florida State and Louisiana. Florida State at home. That's not a bad matchup. Louisiana, always a lot like Appalachian, gives some of these
not very good
Power
this
Fives
year.
fits. Are they down?
5-5.
Okay. Yep. Those 5 losses though aren't like West Charlotte's, are they?
But I don't think App's very good this year. But they beat Texas A&M.
Oh, that's right.
I can't wait till we get into high school and talk about West Charlotte's 5 losses coming into last night. It was unbelievable, that gauntlet that they had.
Yeah.
That they had gone through to get there. And it showed last night on the field, that they weren't afraid of anybody. They could play with anybody. Let's see, UMass at Texas A&M, Florida at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt with the big win last week over Kentucky, right? Got a conference win.
Breaking, a 5-year
Are you serious?
losing streak in the SEC.
Wow, 5 years.
It's 4 or 5 years. Yeah, it was in the 20s.
Don Revels says you're off by 10 years on that trivia.
Was it 72?
72.
Okay.
72.
That's what happens with Wikipedia.
Bought and traded.
It's entered by a human. So.
Said he bought him for $14.5 million.
So where they made the mistake was not putting the 12 years old. They made the mistake on here by putting 82 instead of 72. Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. I never let students use Wikipedia as sources.
Do you not?
No.
I'm not your student, Mike. I'll use it if I want to.
Okay. But you won't get a good grade.
I never do.
Okay.
Nothing changed.
All right. Okay.
Oh, me. Duke at Pitt today. Good matchup.
Oh, it is.
Really good matchup.
Yeah.
Duke 7-3. Mike Elko. I can't say enough about what he's done.
You can't. I mean, to go 7-3 after the last couple seasons.
Eligible after the disastrous seasons they've had under David Cutcliffe.
Biggest disappointments in the nation meet today. Wisconsin travels to Nebraska.
Yep.
Ooh. A lot of red in the stadium, but that's a tough situation.
And
Virginia Tech's at Liberty.
Yeah.
Who wins that?
I got to go with Liberty.
I do too.
You freeze.
Yeah, I think I would go with Liberty. K-State at West Virginia, Washington State at Arizona, Houston at East Carolina. I think, didn't Denny Hoover tell me he's going there today? Yes, he is going there because ring ceremony for the ECU baseball team going on today for winning that regional. Oregon State at Arizona State, number 1 Georgia at Kentucky. Could they trip here? Georgia and lose to
don't.
Kentucky?
The way Kentucky's been trending, I don't see how it could happen.
Ohio State at Maryland. You have to pick one of these two teams to lose, Georgia or Ohio State. Georgia's at Kentucky, Ohio State at Maryland. Which one if you had to pick one?
I'd say Maryland.
I wouldn't. I'd say Kentucky. Easier.
I'd say, I pick Ohio State to lose.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't. I'd take Georgia, I think. Just because Kentucky has a better roster than Maryland.
Ohio State had a somewhat of a scare a couple weeks ago at Northwestern.
Yeah, but that was in the elements,
really bad weather.
Bad weather.
Yeah, I don't think they have any trouble.
No blizzard in Maryland. I don't either. That's why
Penn State just beat Maryland
got their wake up call.
30-0 last week. Yeah, I think Ohio State wins big.
A once proud Miami goes into Clemson today. The Tigers ranked number 9 in the country. That's at 3:30 on ESPN. Penn State at Rutgers. NC State at Louisville. NC State came back down to earth pretty quick.
What's NC State's record now?
Isn't it
7-3?
7-3. They're going 8-4 again.
Just like they always
you
do.
You could just say 8-4 at the beginning of the year. Denny says, "Hey, thanks for the shout out. I'm listening on the way. On the way to ECU this morning, Pirate Country."
Is NC State happy 8-4 every year?
Evidently.
In minor ball.
I don't know how happy, but evidently content.
Texas and Kansas.
Think that Doring could go to Vanderbilt and get them to be 8-4 every year. I'm just saying. Probably not, because the conference is a little deeper there. Texas at Kansas. Kansas at one time was in the mix. There's no number by either team.
No.
Neither one of them are ranked.
Texas is 6-4 under.
Don't need to be ranked
under Sark. What were they last year under him? 5-6. So 2 years after with Sark, basically a break-even record, right?
Iowa's at Minnesota. That is the
that's huge.
Going to be one of the coldest games. Huge.
It's huge for the Big Ten West.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, neither
Who
one
will be the sacrificial lamb?
Neither one's ranked.
That will play Michigan or Ohio State.
Yeah. Still need to put Michigan and Ohio State. Or do away with divisions.
That's right.
Or put them in opposites.
Yeah. Opposites.
Put them in opposites. Arkansas State, Texas State. Auburn's at home against Western Kentucky. Stanford at Cal. The band game, Mike.
Yep.
Tennessee is at South Carolina today. Number 5, Tennessee. Got Marshall at Georgia Southern. That's Georgia Southern down a little bit, aren't they, comparative to what they usually are? Southern Cal, UCLA, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. A lot of these rivalry games are today.
No mention of Bedlam whatsoever.
It wasn't Bedlam trying to get a ticket.
Not this year.
Ole Miss at Arkansas. Lane Kiffin a success.
I think so.
Absolutely. I mean, they're ranked 14th. Yeah.
You got to watch for Arkansas though. They gave LSU a tough.
I think Ole Miss has had a little bit better year than Mississippi State. Both of them with second-year coaches.
Yeah, they
something
have.
like that, or maybe third year.
No, Leach has been there longer.
Has he?
Yeah. Well, can
Leach just
Auburn lure Kiffin away from Ole Miss?
I don't see why you'd want to do that. I mean, I guess with money they could, but
yeah.
When's the last time we saw a SEC coach switch
switching SEC?
When's the last time? That's what I want to know. Have we seen that? When's the last time we saw an SEC coach switch schools, go head coach here to there?
I haven't seen it.
I mean, I don't know. I don't recall it. Now maybe it's happened, but I don't recall that happening. But that in today's world, it could happen. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Wouldn't that be just a lateral move from Ole Miss to Auburn, unless, of course, more money, but.
Auburn has the potential to be better, though.
Probably.
I mean, they won a national championship in the last 10 years or so.
You're right.
They have been there. I mean, they have the potential, I think, for more.
But you're still going to be in the SEC wins. West with Saban.
You are. Yeah. Well, Saban's not going to coach forever.
Really?
I don't think.
Really?
How old is Saban?
70, 71.
Is he?
Yeah.
Still young, right, Mike?
That's what I say.
Southern Cal at UCLA, New Mexico State at Missouri, Colorado at Washington today. Colorado is another school with just a major disappointment on this. I mean, I didn't look for them to be in the top 10 and making a run Roger, thank you there. He says Dan Mullen made the SEC switch.
He did.
And he went from Mississippi State to Florida?
Florida, wasn't it?
Thank you,
Is that
Roger,
right?
for that. You're right.
Is that what it was, Roger? Mississippi State to Florida?
That's right. Mississippi to Florida.
Mississippi to Florida? I always get the Mississippi State
Well,
and
of
Mississippi
course, he got into
coaches
some recruiting. He
mixed.
got into some trouble at Ole Miss. And now he's at Florida.
So did
Now
Hugh
he's-
Freeze.
Which, yeah,
So did Hugh Freeze.
Hugh Freeze was at Mississippi
Who
State,
hasn't
right?
gotten
No,
in
he's
trouble
Ole Miss.
at
Ole
Ole
Miss.
Miss.
Oh, my goodness. See, I told you I get them mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Utah at Oregon. That's a good one. That
It
may be
is.
worth watching tonight at 10:30 on
Yeah.
ESPN.
That's the best
Good
one.
luck.
Lanny will be wide awake. Or you telling me good luck, right?
Whoever.
Baby tell herself good luck.
Yeah.
About trying to stay awake for that one.
Oh, no,
And
I won't try to.
2 games postponed today. Akron at Buffalo. I don't know why.
No. Would that be a matter of some snow flurries in the Northeast?
84 inches of snow have caused the game to be postponed. And the other, so sad to report, but
Yes.
Coastal Carolina at Virginia today will not
Yeah.
be played due to the loss of the 3 players.
University of Virginia is planning a huge celebration of life for the 3 young men who were struck down today on campus.
Tough.
I saw that the Huff team had they honored the player that was from Huff on their helmets last night with his name and number.
That's the way it should be. Class act. That one, and we're going to break. That one, they have the suspect.
They do.
Right.
They do.
The mess going on out in Idaho.
Nobody knows.
No. If you don't know about that, you need to read up some of that.
4 slain. Was it Iowa State students or Iowa students?
Idaho.
Idaho. That's right. Neither one.
Come on, Fort Wayne.
Neither one.
Where's Fort Wayne this week, Mike?
Yeah.
Hadn't crossed his mind.
Fort Wayne hasn't crossed
Fort
my
Wayne,
mind
Texas.
this week.
No, not Fort Wayne, Texas.
There's the Idaho Vandals, right?
They are the Vandals. Who's the most prominent player to come out of there?
Ooh.
The one we know, and I'm talking about football.
Yeah.
One we know.
What position?
Offensive line. And then turned into broadcaster. That'll help you a little bit. Turned into broadcaster. I'll let everybody think on that one while we take a break. We'll be back in just a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
I mean, always. One or the other. We are back. Glad to have you with us on a beautiful Saturday morning. It may be a little cool out there. Brett has left the building almost.
Brett is left the building.
Lanny's standing in.
I can
Sitting
tell you when I came home from the ball game last night
Yeah.
and walking to the parking lot about froze. It felt a whole lot colder than 41 degrees. I can tell you that.
I'd say the same thing. I was walking.
It was cold.
I was walking to the parking lot at East Lincoln. Now, it just felt colder.
See, I don't stay in the press box.
I think it was a little dampness. Helps
Yeah, always
and-
real damp.
Yeah.
I stay on the field, and I go out in the press box at halftime and get warm,
Well,
and then go back
the
because I
press-
like to be on the
The
field.
press box we were in at East Lincoln.
It's
was-
open too,
was
isn't it? Pretty
frigid.
much.
It was cold.
You know, the air conditioning didn't work all summer. It worked
It
last
works now.
night.
And the air conditioning finally worked. And,
Now the heat, you know,
I think that's where I got my big chill.
it
in
did.
the press box.
You don't want the big chill.
The big cheer.
No,
The
I don't want the big
the
chill. No.
the press box was very cool last night, and it seemed like I guess because the door opened when the game was over, and Mike and we tried to stay on real late last night because everybody was on edge of what was going to happen with Kings Mountain and West Charlotte, because West Charlotte was up 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and let it slip away. But because East Lincoln would have had a home game next week.
Yeah,
you
they
know,
were already ordering food.
They
for
were.
next
They
week.
were.
Ooh, that's
But-
a little. That's
Getting a little ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you the story behind that, though. The person that was doing that thought that they gave her a final score.
I got you.
Yeah.
So she thought she thought it was a final. And
So it went from ordering food to renting a bus.
road game.
Yeah, road game.
Well, they won't even have to rent a bus they'll take an activity bus on that 20-mile ride from East Lincoln to
How
Kings
would
Mountain.
they go to Kings Mountain from?
Go to Krause.
By bus.
Go to Krause.
Go through Krause.
Yeah.
St. Mark's Church.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
There you go.
Well, they could. They might do something different. They may.
They go down 321.85. Yeah, come in the back way.
321.85 come in the back way. Yeah, they could do that.
It'd be so bad if they got lost, wouldn't it? And wasn't able to make the game on time. Here's the question this week coming up. Friday's a rainy day. Thursday's Thanksgiving. I don't think anybody would move their game purposely to Thanksgiving night.
No.
I had heard it was going to start on Thursday late but be out by
Friday at noon, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I think
think
all these
that's
teams
right.
would take that.
I'll
When I
check
mentioned
that.
to Chris Mathill last night that could happen, he said, "Let's play in the rain. They've got turf."
Oh, okay.
You know? So
Reedsville has turf. I mean, Kings Mountain has turf.
He didn't phrase it quite like that.
He had some averages,
He had a few
adjectives,
adjectives.
quite a few adjectives in there.
Add in there.
To describe it, you know. But I did like his optimism
I did
in
too.
saying, you
Yeah.
know,
Hey, let's go.
you know.
All right, let me give you
let's
forecast. Let me give you the forecast.
Yeah.
Thursday is partly sunny, 57, 43 and a 40% chance of rain on Thursday night, 50% chance of rain on Friday. Friday night's partly cloudy.
Yeah,
So you might be
That'll
okay.
Might be.
Let's hope. You know, Thanksgiving is such a big day.
Yeah.
You know, a holiday, families get together. All the, you know, I don't think
And the big
anybody's-
thing is to practice on Thanksgiving.
It is.
That's always a.
But you know what,
was a big
Lanny,
plus.
it's even more meaningful now because you have to make
I
the
know.
fourth round.
I
It used
know.
to be after 2 rounds you were practicing.
because
on.
they cut the regular
Yeah.
season down,
They
Yeah.
did.
which is good.
But
Yeah, that's
yeah.
worked out well. 10 games. Like
you know,
I still think there's too many rounds.
and we still,
of playoffs.
but we do this though. We still have the same amount of teams that would practice because that game's just you know already over with, and you've trimmed it down. How many teams do we have left now? We
8 on each side.
Yeah,
Eight on each side.
8 in each.
8
Class.
8 West,
classification.
8. Yeah. But I'm just saying, when you talk about a class, there's no, I'm sorry.
There's just 8
only,
period,
There's
right?
only 4. Yeah, 4 on each side.
8 period 4.
Yeah.
And-
Because next week the winners next week would be what they call Western Eastern champions.
Yep.
No, you got to win
Week
one
after
more.
that.
Week after that.
I'm talking about after this coming Friday,
Yeah.
because they'll go to 2 teams.
Okay, I'm gonna give you
in
the
West.
Seinfeld theory on that. You said next, and the next is Friday.
That's right. I got to get to Sunday or Monday to be next. I know
That's right.
to get to the next week.
That's like if you would refer to last Thursday right now, how far back would you be talking?
2 days.
That's right.
Yeah.
So same scenario,
Yeah.
right? But a lot of people say if you say last, no, not that one.
I was getting
last.
ahead. I was getting ahead.
Last, but yeah. Either way, I just hope it works out where people get to enjoy their Thanksgivings and enjoy the NFL that's on all day that day.
Nobody's going to call off 50%. I don't think. That starts the night before.
They shouldn't, and it's not one of these things that's like it's not one of the tropical storms that you know is going to come and dump water on you during the game. I'll put it that way. NFL Tennessee with a big win a couple nights ago. This team's flying under the radar. Green Bay not flying under the radar. They're flying under the rest of the division, under the rest of the NFC. 27-17. I like what Tennessee's doing. They make it simple. They do what they do, and you just can't stop them at it.
Just give it to
Big Henry.
Yep.
And he has
Derrick Henry.
he has been a beast so far. That defense is really good. It seems like everybody that's on that team reminds you of Mike Vrabel, who's their head coach.
And that was the biggest talk with the talking heads.
Really,
was they've adapted that personality of the working class blue collar Mike
And
Vrabel.
why can his name not be mentioned for NFL Coach of the Year? I mean,
There wasn't any kind of expectations of what he's accomplished.
And here's one thing he's got a hump he's got to get over. Do you realize last year, a lot of people forgot this, Tennessee went in as number 1 seed in the AFC,
that's right.
and I think they lost their first game. Their first game in the playoffs. All right, Chicago at Atlanta, not must-see TV. Cleveland at Buffalo. Would be if it was really at Buffalo, but they're going to play it in Detroit.
The irony of moving to Detroit for better weather this time of year, right?
Indoors.
But
now, did you happen to catch any of the – and I just did it because of the weather – the Wednesday night game with Central Michigan?
Highlights.
Oh, my
I saw
God.
the
I watched
highlights.
it was must-see
If
TV.
I would've known,
and the stadium was full.
I think all 3 games that were on TV that night, different networks, weren't they all 3 in the snow?
No, because Tulane and
Okay.
and so
Well,
and
if it's in
SMU.
Tulane, it was.
Yeah, and I started that game, and it just got out of hand early. I mean, Tulane just handled them. And when they showed a highlight of that those 2 Michigan teams, I just flipped it over immediately because I like watching them play in the snow. And it was not playing; it was snow.
Oh yeah. It looked like a couple times I saw the highlights. It looked like the snow was up to their knees.
Yeah.
And they were still, but it was moving. You know how we talk about wet snow, dry snow. It had to be dry. Because
it's the lake effect.
It was just flying around.
Yeah.
It was not a heavy snow. Buffalo is playing their game, however, in Detroit. Philadelphia's at Indianapolis. New York Jets at New England. New England is in last place. You realize that? Last place in that division, but only by a game. They could be moving up. The Rams are at New Orleans, 2 of the biggest disappointments in the NFL this season. Detroit at New York Giants. Carolina at Baltimore. Not good for the Panthers rolling in to play the Ravens, who are really now starting to play for seeding. So they have something to play for, a lot to play for in that game. Washington at Houston. Washington with the big win on what night was that?
Monday night.
Monday, yeah. I knew it was a night game. I just couldn't remember if it was Sunday or Monday.
I think it's Monday.
Vegas is at Denver. Speaking of two disappointing teams this season, Vegas and Denver, neither living up to expectations. Dallas, Minnesota seems like a very good game. You know, the Cowboys are favored by 1 going to the 7-1 Vikings on the road and still favored by 1. But I think that's because they lost last week. And I kind of feel that way, too. It's hard to see them losing 2 games in a row. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh and Kansas City and the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday night. That'll be followed up. Oh, no, I take that back. That's Monday night. No, it's Sunday night. I'll get it straight in a minute. This Monday night game is San Francisco and Arizona. Arizona coach out at the end of the year?
Should be Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
It's not looking good.
Because a lot of that was because he's the one that wanted quarterback, Kyler Murray. And that was supposed to be the mix. That was supposed to be the magic to make it work.
Yeah.
And now there's friction between them.
Yeah.
Who's more important, the quarterback, because you pay him more?
I'm not convinced that he's truly a franchise NFL quarterback.
Yeah, well, you could question that.
Yeah.
That's legitimate.
Only time will tell on that one. That's not a bad Monday night game. I think it's a division game, so Arizona will play San Francisco tough, might even beat them.
Let's go back to Carolina. You said who's Carolina playing?
Carolina is on the road at the Ravens.
Lanny, any speculation on who David Tepid? Oh no, it's Tepper. I'm sorry.
Tepper.
Might bring in. I don't either.
Jeff Saturday's probably going to be available.
Yeah.
Nope, he's undefeated.
He's undefeated. Want to know?
I don't know. I hate that they can't give Steve Wilkes a little more time because I think he's a player's coach.
He is a player's coach.
And it's just, he didn't get a fair shake in Arizona either.
No, he didn't.
He played hard for him.
And he's put his time in the league.
Yeah, he
but
deserves
boys,
a shot.
you get the quick hook. It doesn't take long. And he doesn't have anything around him. And they don't really have any picks.
Even though he would be a great fit and he's a player's coach, like you say, without the pieces, he's not going to have much of a record as an interim.
That's right.
I can tell you one that won't be. Sean Payton.
Won't be a head coach?
He won't be in Charlotte.
No, he's not.
Why would he take that when he can have his pick?
He's got his pick of the litter.
And I think if Dallas collapses, he'll be in Dallas.
See, I don't see that.
If they don't, him and Jerry are tight.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
What do you mean collapse in Dallas?
I want you to know this. Sean
Beat
Payton.
in the first round.
Sean Payton, or not even make it.
Or not even make it.
Yeah,
yeah.
a bigger collapse. But
and that could
Sean
happen.
Payton, at one time they were rivals, the Saints and the Cowboys, and they went somewhere, and it was an establishment that Jerry Jones visits. I'm talking about a bar and a restaurant, not the kind of establishment you had in your mind there. But
Bob Kraft?
I was thinking Bob Kraft all the way. Hey.
He wasn't there. Yeah. But Sean Payton had the guy go in and bring out Jerry Jones' couple $1,000 bottle of wine, and Payton drank it without Jerry knowing it, and then he told him on the air that he had drank his very expensive wine. Mm-hmm. So but this one really stands out to me. I think this is the other place that Sean Payton will go if the firing happens, and that is to coach Justin Herbert in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Now I could see that, and if I was Sean Payton, I would want that job a whole lot quicker than going.
You
to
can
Jerry
build
world.
something around.
Yeah. Well, you don't know how long it'll take before Jerry just gets in the way.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I do. 24 hours.
All the time.
I mean, think of
Maybe.
if Jerry had stayed out of the way. Think of how dominant the Cowboys would have been with Jimmy Johnson.
Yep.
They'd have probably won at least
Never
one
know.
more Super Bowl.
Oh, they'd won more than one.
Well, they did win one more. Barry got it.
Barry got it.
Barry got it.
It just didn't have Jimmy's name on it.
I saw.
Is Barry still the only coach to win a national championship in college and the NFL?
No.
Well, Jimmy. Didn't Jimmy won it at Miami?
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
I can't give Barry credit for that Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they were on Dan Patrick the other day. He had on two legends. He had on Jimmy Johnson and he had on Mike Krzyzewski, and they did a poll: would you rather have Jimmy's career or Krzyzewski's career? And it was very close. It ended up 52-48 Krzyzewski. But the question was, he asked Jimmy Johnson. He said, "Do you ever call Barry Switzer and say you're welcome?"
Yeah.
Or does Barry ever call you and say thank you? Yeah. So it's just like he handed him.
All Barry had to do was show up on the side.
He handed him an automatic Super Bowl champion there.
I like Barry now.
Yeah, that was. They had some very interesting interviews on there, but this week some of the some really good people on there. Let's see what I got here. Good morning, David. Just waking up and listening to you and the gang. Had the honor to witness the best high school football entrance last night. Lanny will appreciate this. He compares it to Clemson running down the hill in the big town of Lawndale last night. So that's the game Edwin had last night as a referee. Great environment, great game last night to officiate. That was now did he I guess now let me see how that's worded. Last night to officiate. Yeah, he was. I don't think that means that was his last night.
Yeah.
To officiate, but
he was talking about the entrance to the beginning of the game in Burns.
They run down a hill. They do run down a hill. It's a big hill on their home side over there.
Yeah, it's sort of a bowl. Well, Crest is the same way essentially.
I told you my best. Never seen it
high school one.
Yeah. The motorcycle entrance at
I was going to make a
Wilkes
joke,
Central.
but I won't. I'm not going to do the team that way to make the joke. I wouldn't do that.
Motorcycle entrance at Wilkes Central.
There's a group of Harleys,
I was
cheerleaders. Me and you did the game.
No, I didn't do the game with you. I don't think.
Oh, okay. Well,
but I was there.
It'd been me and Tim.
It was at West
The
Wilkes.
cheerleaders came in on Harleys.
And they brought the team in.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Onto the field. Yep.
I like that.
Never seen that done before. Never seen it done
Probably
again.
never will.
That was quite unique.
Yeah. What is your favorite college one?
Well,
you like Clemson, obviously. Okay, rule them out. What's second for you then? We'll do it that way because I've always loved the horse at Florida State and the spear in the ground. I think that's awesome
like that.
because that was my first one that I ever really loved. But
do
the
I
Buffalo's good and Boomer Schooner's good.
Hey, Boomer Schooner, baby.
Especially when they turn it over.
Yeah,
you know?
when they turn it over real sharply on the field.
And I'm not talking about the football team turning it over.
No.
The other one that's pretty impressive is when they at Auburn when they released the War Eagle.
Yeah, flies around.
Yeah, that one's pretty good too.
Yeah, I'll be wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
I'm afraid don't want that thing. Don't want that thing to light on my head. For whatever reason, but yeah, there's a lot of them though. You can't name them all in college. Virginia Tech used to have a great one.
Sandman.
Not quite as not quite as entertaining now.
Because they never win at home.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, look at their home record over the past 4 or 5 years.
Yep, something there to me has got to give.
Sandman, and then it turns into a nightmare.
Yep. Let's see. I want to look at something real quick here while we're on the subject because we've been talking NFL. While I'm looking this up, you guys tell me real quick what teams you think will have new head coaches next year?
NFL.
Well, and you know there's going to be 6 or 8. It's just normal procedure.
Panthers, Cardinals,
Chargers.
You know the Chargers is a hard one though because they're above 500.
Well, would the Raiders dump Josh McDaniel after 1 year? I think they've been terrible.
Brett says he likes the tapping of the sign, of course. Play like
Notre
a champion.
Play
today.
like a champion.
Of course, that one's hidden though. It's inside. Like
you don't get to see
Michigan makes a great entrance, but you hardly ever see it because it's.
Yeah.
And Penn State's is really good too.
And that's going down. That's actually going down the steps at Notre Dame, is it not? When you come out of the locker room and start down the steps.
I think it's up. I think the locker room's down under.
Okay.
And you go.
I knew there were steps involved. I couldn't remember.
And you hit the sign, play like a champion.
Rodney says on our coaching carousel, I hope the Raiders do.
Yeah, I do too.
And I agree with him.
You guys talked about this a couple weeks ago.
They got rid of the right guy.
There's only been that I know of or can think of one successful, what you would call successful head coach that has come out of the New England tree, and he wasn't a coordinator. And that was Vrabel. Vrabel was just an assistant, wasn't he?
He wasn't
because you go back to Romeo and Charlie Weiss, and you just go back further and further. None of those guys were successful when they left.
I keep thinking though, I know he's still a coordinator, but sometimes the special teams coordinator.
Well, Joe Judge.
Yeah,
Joe
gets
Judge.
jobs like that.
He got fired from New
yeah.
York.
Well, the interim coach last year at the Raiders, he was this, and he's in Green Bay now with special teams. And again, his name
And don't
slips
forget
me,
the
slips my mind.
forgettable.
Bisaccia.
Don't forget Matt Patricia's forgettable run in Detroit.
Yes, that's another one.
His forgettable run is that?
Yeah,
or-
that's why I said forgettable.
I thought I heard unforgettable.
No,
It's-
forgettable.
It's unforgettable to Lions fans.
Unforgettable to
They
the
will- they'll
Lions
never-
fan. They'll
now,
never
now Brett's
forget it.
disagreeing, and he would be the expert on this subject. He says they do run down the steps
At Notre Dame?
to the field.
I thought they
For
did
some
too.
reason, I thought it was underground.
That's
and they
what
ran
I
up.
thought.
So-
I think.
You know, you got the sign, play like a champion.
Yeah.
You hit it and you come out on the field. I don't know.
And I thought they were tapping that sign as they went down. So maybe they are tapping the sign as they
Could be.
go up. That's kind of like hallowed ground, like Lambeau Field. So maybe you should go up to the playing surface. Virginia Tech entrance with Inner Sandman, but poor performance on the field, says
Yeah,
Lenny. Yeah,
that's
that's
true.
been the situation.
Note where Virginia Tech is when they did not promote Bud Foster as a transition. If nothing else, they should have done that from a
And
transition.
who was the
Yeah, I
guy that
agree.
did that? Who did get that? Is that where we saw
that
Fuente.
Fuente?
yeah, that was the guy.
Okay.
And kind of came from nowhere.
Yeah,
But
it
I
would've-
think he had a connection with the AD.
It would have been much better just to let Foster take it.
Can defensive coordinators become good head coaches?
Can what now?
Good. Can defensive coordinators become good head
I begin
coaches?
to
Not
wonder.
not in today's
It's
NFL.
very rare.
Not in
It's
today's
very
NFL.
rare.
I'm wondering-
I mean, in anything.
Hey.
In college, can they? Because
Look.
look at the struggles that
Brett Venables
Brent
is having.
Venables, a disaster.
And the struggles
At
are on
5-5
defense.
But
on
was
defense.
was the cupboard not pretty bare?
Must have been.
How can it be though?
But Riley,
It's Oklahoma.
Riley
I understand.
Riley-
I think
He
he
took the best
rated.
players
with him.
Yes, he did.
Riley's Raiders
Yeah.
galloped off.
The
to
only
Southern
one, and
Cal.
you've already seen that it's not coaching, it's the players. The only really successful defensive coordinator is New England.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But he had Tommy.
yeah.
that's right.
Now he's really struggling because now the talk is Mac Jones really the
I know.
quarterback
Is he
that they
the
need?
guy?
But he doesn't even have an offensive coordinator. He's got two defensive coordinators calling his plays.
I remember the
Offensive.
day when Lanny said Chip Belichick will have way more.
I did.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Success than that goes back a few years. I thought the same thing at the time, but
So you thought it was the system? That was
I did.
was
I
Belichick's
did.
System.
I did. And
but Brady does do good when he goes to players that kind of like he can coach. You
that's
know?
right. Right.
You know,
That's why he's struggling this year without Bruce Arians.
yeah, it was. Did you see the text leak this week that he supposedly sent to Antonio Brown? Oh, it was good. If he actually sent,
Won't he?
No,
Oh.
no, hammering him for his behavior right before he was dismissed by Tampa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like when you came in here, you were modest, you worked hard, you wanted to be like everybody else, and you changed that mindset during the time I've been here. And it's you're not pretty much saying you're not a team guy anymore, and you're selfish. And,
Well, I think that was obvious.
yeah, I know. But to text him and say that,
So we can clear this up. Notre Dame goes downstairs. I've got two pictures
Okay.
here. They've got the list of national championships.
but now if they were taken with a phone and it's turned backwards, that might be.
No. The rails go like this, and you've got the list of national championships, and then you've got play like a champion right under where they can reach up and.
Here's a very good Gene Schrontz, a very good example of defensive coordinator doing well because they gave him enough time. Kirby Smart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He said Kirby Smart. It takes a few years of recruiting,
Yep.
and you know what? His defense is still better than his offense, but his offense is adequate. You know, I mean,
That's right.
it's good enough to get the job done. Here's a good one. Ralphie, the Buffalo, entering the stadium. That's Colorado.
Yeah.
Ralphie, though, is going to start running over some Colorado coaches if things don't change. So that's
Ralphie, that is a good one.
Where'd you come up with NFL coaches? Did we name
Other ones.
the ones that are finished?
I hate to
Out.
say this too. I'm guessing Ron Rivera's probably out, unless it gets sold first.
Well,
That's a tough one to me. You know?
But here's the deal: he won't be long because
Looking for a job.
no. I'm talking about in another head coach position because
I know.
he gets more out of less than any other coach there is.
I mean, he's winning games.
Who does he have? He has no talent. He
He's
has no
winning
roster.
games with Taylor Heineke.
Yes.
He'll if he wants a job, he'll have a job.
Yes,
quick.
yes,
I
yes.
mean,
And he runs a really,
snatch him up.
he's a player's coach, and
Stand-up guy.
he runs the franchise, that side of it, the way if an owner will get out of your way and support you, that you can get it done. I think Tepper messed up when he let him go from the Panthers.
I'm with you.
I'm looking real quick here through the divisions. AFC East, there's not going to be a change. Everybody's staying put there because everybody but New England's on the rise, and New England's not doing away with their coach. The North, you got Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. I think everybody stays put there.
I think Frank Reich was a bad move.
Oh, he's going to land somewhere.
Sure he is.
Yeah.
He would be a great pickup.
He's another one that you take injuries and what he had available on the roster, he accomplished a lot.
Yeah. I was a little surprised. I thought that happened a little bit too early. But there might have been other stuff going on we don't know
What
about,
happens to
Ursay had a bad night
What
drinking.
happens to my man Jeff Saturday?
He's going back to the broadcast
back to
booth.
ESPN.
Nobody, and I don't think I haven't seen anybody that can explain what happened. Now they're starting some kind of investigation on why they gave him the interim coaching job.
I'm going to say he keeps it next year.
Saturday?
Yep. I'm going to say because he don't have to go to the playoffs.
No.
He needs to go 500 with his record, so which means they would finish a
already
little below
1-0.
5. Yeah. I just think he stays. I think here's a good head coach in the NFL. Let your coaches coach.
Yes.
And I think he has a good voice for the franchise, the figurehead, so to speak.
But would it be
and
easier
I think
just to go back to ESPN and do?
But he's doing what he has the passion to do right now,
Okay.
and he can go back to ESPN in 10 years.
Do you think part of it is Ursay has more confidence and trust in him than maybe anybody else at this point?
Could be because they've been really good friends ever since.
I'm going to just about say that Ursay talked to Peyton Manning on the phone, and Peyton said, "Try Saturday."
Try Saturday.
Yeah.
I bet Peyton had a hand in this.
Because and Peyton would know how football smart the guy is.
Yeah.
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 So,
I love what he said when he came on board. He said, give me my shot. If I'm bad, I'll walk off in the sunset.
right.
No problem.
At least I gave it a shot.
Yeah.
I think he's back next year. Kansas City, don't think he's going anywhere. Chargers, we all think that's probably 50-50. Denver, that's been an ugly mess.
Yeah,
Do you know
that's been an unorganized mess.
And the other
Gotta
thing
go.
is when they got Hackett, they really thought that Aaron Rodgers was coming with him because Russell Wilson doesn't play an Aaron Rodgers game, and he's trying to, kind of like Pete was at Seattle. He's trying to force feed the quarterback. You got to, if you've got a quarterback with that much talent, you got to kind of turn them loose a little bit.
Yeah.
Let Russ cook. as they say.
Rodgers is guaranteed $50 million next year if he stays in Gray.
57.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
How do you explain
He's not going
Geno
anywhere.
Smith's success at Seattle? Kind of a
Manager.
journeyman quarterback.
Game manager.
Okay.
And that's why Russell didn't work out.
He wasn't a game manager.
That's right.
I
He
love
didn't want
Pete,
to be.
I love Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's got to be one of the best coaches of all time. Speaking of
he
coaches
is.
that have won both,
There's your defensive
There's
coach.
another
the
one.
national
And
championship.
there's the defensive coach.
Yep.
Had the
Yeah.
best team money could buy in college.
Yep.
Yep.
They won it.
I know.
Yeah. And now Reggie Bush is making commercials about it, making fun of the fact that he had to
I
give
know.
back his Heisman.
Andy Reid could see 3 new faces in his division next year, if you think about it. And Chargers, Broncos, Raiders could all have new coaches.
Yes.
When the next season starts.
I don't think that's far-fetched.
Philadelphia, Giants, Dallas, Washington. We could see changes in
How
Dallas
about
and Washington.
Atlanta?
if things,
Arthur
if
Smith and
things
the
fall.
Cracker Jacks. I don't think that Arthur Smith is done a pretty good Eastern
Oh, he's
job
good.
with
He's good for them.
with what he's got.
He's good for them. They're going to be pretty
my
good
God,
in the future.
he's resurrected Mario.
Mariota.
Mariota.
Mariota, yeah.
Minnesota, no. Green Bay, no, he's not going anywhere. Detroit, I wouldn't get rid of Dan Campbell. And
Well-
Chicago. Chicago's guy's in his first year, so I can't remember his name. Makes me think of Elmer. It's something like that. His last name makes me think of Elmer. Not Elmer Fudd, though.
I mean, Dan Campbell hasn't produced, but yet.
We got to get into high school, so let me run through these real quick. Tampa, Bowls isn't going anywhere. They're in first place, 5-5, dominant. in first
Yeah,
place.
dominant.
Atlanta's not. Carolina, we're going to see we're either going to see a coach go from interim to head coach or a brand new face.
Yeah.
And New Orleans, I think I don't know. Not many teams will fire a coach after 1 year, but they've just been a major disappointment at 3-7.
Disappointing.
They don't have a quarterback either.
No,
Oh,
they
you
don't.
mean Jameis
No,
is not the answer?
but you know why they don't have one? Because they got 3, and you can't play 3.
You know,
you can't even play 2.
One of the rumors that came out this week is that they were going to split time with Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield
Yeah.
and play 2 quarterbacks. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one.
You don't have
Yeah.
one.
So you're doing auditions in the middle of the season.
How many of the current Panthers quarterbacks will be there next season?
Or depends on who that coach is.
P.J. Walker. That's it.
Seattle
He's a
Seahawks
decent
not going
backup.
anywhere. San Francisco coach not going anywhere. Arizona, I think's iffy. The
Iffy.
Rams coach is not going anywhere. Let's take our final time out this morning and come back and talk high school playoffs here on Sports Talk.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call 4 Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
All right, welcome back to Sports Talk. David, Michael, and Lanny. Brett is left the building, headed south, all the way to Gastonia.
Southbound.
He's playing in a basketball league, and their tournament starts today, and he has the 10 a.m. game today. So,
Southbound and down.
Does he stretch on the way?
I don't know.
He didn't leave himself a whole lot of time if he plays the 10 to get to Gastonia.
Yeah, he might need a driver if he was going to do that. As I get into the high school football scores from last night, Roger sent me a message this morning, and me and Brett were talking about this morning before we went on the air. Princeton High School down east. Roger says they have 2 running backs that have combined for 5,000 rushing yards and 69 touchdowns this season. And one of those guys last night, Brett was telling me this morning, one of those guys, and I don't know their names, so I definitely couldn't give you the name, but one of them last night had 495. Is that what it was?
495.
Yeah. That's a night right there. They scored 60-some points, and I don't think they ever put the ball in the air. Not one time.
Let me give you, since I was on, I'm just scrolling back through the Facebook, some of the folks on here.
Yep.
Link Pauly.
We need that.
Link Pauly says he thinks that Frank Reich might be the next Panthers coach.
Could be.
That would be a great fit.
Yeah.
That'd be the first offensive coach they've had since what?
Never.
Yeah.
Their first coach, Dom Capers, was a defensive
No, the second one that came from San Francisco.
George Seifert.
Wasn't he an offensive coach?
Allegedly, but
I thought he was defense. I thought he was
Maybe
a defensive
he was.
coordinator.
that's what I thought.
And his brother Joe coaches Wingate.
But that's what I was going to say. You could see his brother a lot more if he moved to Charlotte and lived.
I'd take Frank Reich at the Panthers.
Oh,
in a
I
heartbeat.
think, yeah. Okay. If you don't, somebody else is going to hire him.
Absolutely.
He's going to get hired.
And he's available, so you can go ahead and talk to him.
All right, scoreboard from last night. Since we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, we'll give the East as well. Terry Sanford beat Eastern Alamance 27-17. Whiteville over Hertford County 25-24. Tarboro, winners of 7 state championships since the year 2000, has won last night 34-14 over Riverside Martin. And this game, Monroe and East Surrey was a battle all night long. I don't know if you know or not. East Surrey jumped out to a 14-0 lead in this game early. First score I saw was 14-0 East Surrey. But Monroe comes back and wins that game 28-23 over the Cardinals and ending their season. Last year that game was 10-9. Last year they went in. Both teams were averaging over 40 points a game, and the final was 10-9 East Surrey.
How far did East Surrey go last year in the playoffs?
They played for the –
Did he play Western?
They played in the semis of the West.
Semis of the West.
Okay.
Shelby beat them, and then Shelby the next week beat Reidsville.
Right. That's right.
So, I think it's the way that was, if I remember correctly.
That is correct.
Yep. They had a 1-point win over Maiden last year in the third round, I think, third or fourth round last year. A very good close game against Maiden. Southern Alamance falls to Millbrook 35-7. East Duplin and Clinton. I read stuff all week that this was going to be one of the better games of the night. It lived up to it. East Duplin 28, Clinton 27 last night. So there's
dark horses don't get beat much.
There's not a dark horse in the picture anymore,
not a
right?
Dark horse in the picture.
There's no dark horse. It's only East Duplin. They played earlier in the year, maybe. I'm trying to remember if they played earlier in the year. I don't want to say
surely
that.
They're in the same conference.
Well,
That's 2 counties side by side.
Yeah. Which county is Clinton in?
I
thought it might even be in Duplin, but maybe not.
don't think so.
Yeah.
I'll look that up.
New Bern 38, Jordan 33. Wake Forest falls to Rolesville. How about them two playing each other this late in the playoffs? And it used to be one school. Rolesville wins 42-28. AC Reynolds, Mike, this is one of the ones I missed last night. This is the game we all had. Lanny picks with us as well. Yeah. It was 5-5. We had a couple 6-4s. This one was 5-5.
Yeah. The top games were all unanimous.
Yeah.
In the last 4 or 5,
I try to always
they were 6-4, 6-4, and then 5-5.
After I get the local teams listed, I always try to give us some that will be split on. And that one was perfect. AC Reynolds a winner over Butler, 21-17.
Fortunately, I went with AC Reynolds.
Yep,
I did too.
Well, 5 of you did. That leaves 3 more. Let's see, where did I leave off? Triton beats Jacksonville last night 37-35. One of the best games of the night here, too. Eastern Randolph, the number 1 seed in the 1A West, defeated Robbinsville. Close. They had to score late to win, 29-26. Northampton County beat West Columbus 32-18. Princeton, this is one we talked about with the running backs last night, 63-55. I'd hate to know I scored 55 in the third round of the playoffs and had to drive back home 3 hours or more with a loss. That had to hurt for Cummings, because Cummings has been down a while, and now they started to climb back up to where they once were. Got to give this one private school score here. Providence Day just rolled over Charlotte Christian 55-13. Providence Day probably has a distinction
and
this year of being the
game.
best team, the best football team in Charlotte-Mecklenburg. Wallace Rose Hill, I still think they'll be in the state championship when it rolls around here in a couple weeks in the East. Wallace Rose Hill beat Nash Central 28-7. Weddington rolled over Northwest Guilford 35-14. Fayetteville 71st 40. North Brunswick 8. Rosewood over Hobton, 28-14. Southern Durham beat Northern Nash. Excuse me, I got that backwards. Northern Nash the winner, 21-14 over Southern Durham. Let's see. Mount Airy shut out Hayesville last night at home, 49-0. I wonder if that sets up Mount Airy and Eastern Randolph yet, or if that's still got another one to go before they would meet. Either way, if they do meet, that's going to be a classic. South Point holds off Crest in the final seconds of the game last night. Mike, you and I were just standing there trying to keep up with what was going on there after our game. 21-20, South Point defeats Crest. Crest was up 14-0 in this game. South Point scored the next 21, I believe, and then Crest scored and missed the extra point. And then they got to the 1-yard line last night, had 2 plays from the 1, did not choose to kick a field goal, which would have won. Brett said they were not in the middle of the field. They were on the left hash mark. Would have been a bad angle. He had already missed an extra point. Let's not forget that.
I just don't like taking points away, taking points off the field. We've seen it happen.
Okay, how did they take points off the field? You take points off the board if you make the field goal and then accept the penalty. It takes the points off. This did not take points off because you got to earn the points first. Yeah. Got to make the kick first before it's points, Mike.
Well, okay.
We don't know if the kicker got hurt. Okay. We just know they missed an extra point.
That's true.
Okay, and this thing would have been about the distance of an extra point.
But that's not a very high percentage play on the 2-pointer, obviously.
Probably is more in high school.
Well, first of all, there was not a 2-pointer. I don't know where you came up with a 2-pointer.
It was just a field goal.
No, it was a 4th down play.
It was a 4th down play.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, they were going for a touchdown to win the game.
To win the game, not
they were right. They never got it in the end zone.
Disdained the field goal.
On the 3rd down run, he was stopped just inches shy of the goal line. They tried to throw it on 4th down, and the pass was batted down at the line of scrimmage. Yeah. And did Brett not say that the kid that's going to Notre Dame at South Point had not played defense all year, and he came in and he batted the pass down?
Well, that's just
pretty impressive.
It is. That is coaching right there, buddy.
It is.
That is.
What's he? He's about 6'8", right? I think.
Yeah, he's a very tall guy. He is.
Great. Yeah, great decision to put him in there just for that purpose.
That's a rematch of a game earlier this year that South Point won by maybe 16 points or so, if I'm not mistaken. Butch is giving me a money figure here we'll get to here in just a minute. Other scores from last night: Independence loses to Grimsley in a high-scoring affair, 44-36. Andrews defeats Murphy, 50-23 in the 1A. Kings Mountain scores with 6 seconds. Is that what was left, Mike? 6 or 10, something like that?
6, yeah.
And they scored 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns. They scored on their last 2 possessions to overcome a 19-7 deficit to win 22-19. Sets up East Lincoln and Kings Mountain next week. East Lincoln a winner over Ledford, 28-7. East Lincoln last night played a team averaging 45 points a game. What was their total yardage?
I had 121.
121 yards is all they got last night.
Has East
and
Lincoln
7 points.
ever faced Kings Mountain?
That's what we were asking.
We were wondering if they were ever in the Big South together because
Yeah.
East Lincoln was a member of the Big South 3A, but I think when they were, it was all Gaston
and Kings
and
Mountain
East
in the
Lincoln.
Cleveland County.
I think so.
It was all
I
Gaston
think
and
so.
East Lincoln. That's right.
I cannot remember.
I don't think
them meeting.
I don't think
cannot
they've ever
remember.
met.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because Kings Mountain's never dropped below 3A.
I've got all the
And
scores
the
somewhere.
only time East Lincoln was ever 3A till now was in that old Big South.
Yeah, I know
with the
they've not
Gaston
met in the
County.
playoffs. I know they've not met in the
Okay.
playoffs. But unless they were in the same conference, I'm just going to say that they have not, have never met. If somebody knows the answer to that, they can let us know. Big win for Drone last night. Probably their biggest win in school history.
Yeah.
Yes.
At 1A Drone, they beat Thomasville last night on the road, 19-14. To advance to the next round. Burns had to come from behind late to beat Salisbury 24-20. Number 1 Huff in North Carolina beat number 2 East Forsyth 17-7 on the road last night. Big win for Huff. We're going to see a new champion in 4A. We know that, don't we? Let me think. Was it Chambers last year, or did Chambers lose last year in the? Trying to
It
remember.
was Chambers last year.
Well, Chambers is out, and if that is the case, we will see a new state champion in 4A as well. Hillside over Pine Forest, 28-27. North Moore defeats Perkelman's 42-26. Eastern Guilford, upset on paper, not really an upset in our minds. We thought Eastern Guilford could play with it. West Henderson, they win that game. West Henderson was 12-0, but they lose 35-17.
I picked Eastern Guilford.
I did too.
Did not.
That was one of those split games.
That was
too.
a 6-4.
That was a split game.
Yeah. Let's see, Reedsville. This one here, I think, was the most impressive win by any team last night, and not the fact they won at home, but the score.
Yes, and I picked Reedsville.
I picked Reedsville.
There was no doubt in my mind.
too.
Everybody was thinking Chase was the team.
No.
I'm like, no.
No, everybody wasn't, because our picks was 8-2.
Not everybody.
I thought that was a 6-4. Was it 8-2?
I think it was 8-2. And I'll tell you,
My buddy Four went. He went Chase. I'm pretty sure.
I think that was wishful thinking. Because it was 2 Macon guys that picked.
Yeah.
They want a home game next week. That's why I said maybe it was wishful thinking.
Yeah,
But that was not the case. 30-0. Allow a Chase team that was 12-0 and averaging, what was it, 54 points a game?
Mm-hmm.
Zero.
Wasn't chasing
Zero.
Weren't they in a split 1A 2A?
They weren't.
Weren't they with Polk County and them?
But
Well,
it was
Polk's
either
2A.
Polk's 2A.
It was
now.
either straight 2A or it was 2A 3A.
It was either
Okay.
2A, 3A,
Yeah.
or
There's no 1As over there
No,
in that
no, they're not.
in that area.
not
So,
anymore.
the only one over there plays in the all 1A conference, and that's Thomas Jefferson.
That's
Yeah.
right. They play in a 1A, 2A.
Maiden with an impressive win. What they did last night was get off to a fantastic start. 14-0 before people got in their seats last night. A couple long passes to Culliver. And Maiden defeats Bunker Hill 38-14. I am getting a free Lottaburger.
Oh.
Yeah. I gave Bunker Hill in 21.
Well, let me see.
And
You called it. You said 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I get a free Lottaburger.
I'd go Shake Shop if it's ever open. If you can find it open one day.
Sorry to call you out, A.J. Henley. I got to give you a name out on the air. That's where they went last night. Did you see them last night, A.J. and
It's
BD?
it's hard to miss them down there in the suite. They
Yeah.
sit down there in the
That's right.
suite.
Yeah.
They bring the lawn chairs and sit behind the end zone down there on where the field house is.
Yeah.
That's where they see it.
I had a picture last night of a couple guys that went to the Burns game last night, and had they were luxury out there. They had a big space heater out there.
Yeah.
They weren't sitting.
No,
in the
they didn't have a
bleachers.
space heater.
These guys were sitting on the grass like on a hill.
They didn't
and
have
had
a space heater.
space
And
No.
I'm not going to call them out by name, Nick Dellinger and Darren and Brent Turner, but
Yeah.
they had a space heater out
Yeah,
there.
but BD and them bring the lawn chairs. yeah, they bring the lawn chairs. They have
I
their
guess
own
that must
section.
have been a propane.
Yeah,
space heater.
yeah. Well, they make these small ones. I see guys carry them in their golf carts. They put the little plastic covers.
This
on
was
the
a
side.
weird looking thing. It's like it was
Yeah.
duals.
And it
You know,
looks like speakers.
yeah, it
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they did. Maybe they were just listening to some jam, and
Maybe
I thought it was.
No, that's what it really was.
Yeah, that could easily be what it was. Nick was listening to some jam last night. Let's see here. Gene Tront says, remember Reidsville won by 35 last year. Chase had a few out by what I hear. Well, the running back that Chase lost about 6-8 weeks ago never came back. But I was told that the guy that filled his shoes may not be that guy, but he was 95%. If he was 95% as good as that guy, that's still pretty good.
I got your East Lincoln Kings Mountain answer.
Have they ever met?
Shelton says no.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so.
Shelton,
No,
Shelton
can't
follows
say-
the Mustangs as much as anybody.
Yep.
I shouldn't say I didn't think so because I really didn't know, but I never remembered it.
Shelton's a year younger than I am. So he graduated in '79, and I'm sure he knows all the seasons. And Kings Mountain, prior to that, was in the old Western North
Southwestern.
Carolina. Whatever you call it. Southwestern Conference, but the old Western North Carolina Athletic Association.
Yeah, up until 72, right? Yeah.
We're going to get back to the high school in just a minute, but I got quite a few comments coming in that I don't want to leave off. Rodney agrees with you. Lanny Ron Rivera is a great coach and a great man.
Yeah.
Players will play for him. Probably will never happen, but I would love for him to go to the Raiders, and I can understand that. Let's see. Rodney also says Princeton Christian Paris is the name. That's the name we're looking for. Christian
the
Paris.
running back.
Perris, not like the city. But last night, 33 carries, 495 yards, and 7 touchdowns
I heard Brett
in a
talking about
playoff
that.
game.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. On the season, he has 279 for 3198 and 47 touchdowns. He's also one of the team's leading receivers. He is the leading receiver. Guess how many catches he has as their leading receiver on the season?
Less than 20.
Half.
Yeah.
10. 10 for 277. Yeah. The quarterback for the team has completed 12 of 21 for 297. They catch you off guard when they throw it. 10 of those went to Paris. That's pretty impressive statistics.
How long have they
for
been
him.
2A? Because I was thinking they were still 1A.
They were 1A for a good
long
while.
time, yeah.
Yep. Lenny says he's weighing in on Tepper. If Tepper stays out of the way, Frank Reich, I think, would be a great choice.
Yep.
When I was at East Gaston, he came and talked to our FCA. At that time, he lived in the area and may still have a home here. Yeah, if you know that's where you're going to go when you retire, there's no use getting rid of the house, right?
You know, Dan Reeves lived up on Lake Norman. That's where he lived after he got out.
Another really good person who I admired throughout all the years. Just quickly here, let's see if I can get to the how far this thing. It might not even give me next week. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Some of the matchups now that we're looking at for next week. Some of these, if you say you saw that coming, you're just a liar.
Go ahead and say.
Yeah, just be blunt there,
yeah,
Keith.
Blunt.
But some of them, I mean, okay, we got an 8-5 team still playing.
Yeah.
An 8-5 Triton,
Yep.
still playing. And according to this can't be home team on bottom because they're playing a 13-0, and they could not be ranked
No,
ahead of that
can't
team in the RPI. Northern Nash and Triton, Terry Sanford and Fayetteville 71st, Mount Airy and Eastern Randolph combined 23-2 for those two teams. That'll be interesting. How about this one? A combined 24-2 when Burns hosts Monroe next week. That's a choice that I would have if I was not doing the East Lincoln game, and
I would like
if
to
East
see
Lincoln
that
was
one.
not. Yeah, it'd be hard not to see that one. It'd either be that one or Maiden and
Reidsville.
and Reidsville.
I'm just hoping that's on the NFHS.
Yeah,
it should
I know.
be this deep
I know.
into the season.
Yeah.
Because Kim would probably want to go to that.
No,
wouldn't
she won't. She ain't going to Reidsville. She did go last night, though.
Have you ever been to Reidsville? it's a long, dark, cold ride, and you get there and you don't even realize there's out there in the middle of nowhere.
Is that not who Lincoln played all those
4
years
times.
ago? Yeah.
4 times.
I did all those games, yeah.
It's about 15 miles from the Virginia line.
Matter of fact, you may have not been with me, but that's back in the day when I had to wait on him. Him and Phil rode with me and had to wait for them to go to the local newspaper and file their story because there was no internet back then.
They sure did.
Yeah.
I think I have
I think we went to
done
the
radio.
I think we did.
I think I've done radio for 3 of those 4, so you probably did the first time they ever met, and which would have been 2001. 2001, I think. Lincoln went up there and upset them like 31-6, and they were a very high seed. But let's really quickly go through the rest of these matchups. Rolesville at New Bern next week. New Bern is the undefeated team there. Rolesville has 3 losses, but there again they might be like those West Charlotte losses. And did you know who West Charlotte? Did I tell you who they had lost to? West Charlotte came in last night with 5 losses. They had lost to Mallard Creek, Independence, Butler, Huff, and who was my other one, Mike? Give me another Charlotte. Chambers. I mean, who don't lose to them?
Oh, I know.
It showed last night on the field. They were not intimidated by Kings Mountain.
What do you think? Do you think
26-0 is what I think. What is that?
Yeah.
What is 26-0?
That's the matchup between Kings Mountain and East Lincoln?
That's where we'll be.
26-0. Do Mustangs have a better chance against Kings Mountain, or would they have had a better chance against West Charlotte at home?
That is hard to say.
Yeah.
But hey, okay, give me a line on this game. I want to hear how yours would compare to mine. Kings Mountain and East Lincoln. Who you favoring and by how much? And while you're thinking, I'm going to go ahead and tell you.
I'm going Kings Mountain by 7.
The only thing I don't know last night was how much was the giveaway here, Butch. I want to mention this.
Maiden?
Yeah.
Right at 4,000.
3,400.
No, it's 3,900.
3,400. I got it right here.
Okay.
In writing.
I thought I heard him say 39.
3,400. But was that the giveaway, or was it half of that giveaway?
No. That was the winners.
Okay.
But I could have sworn when they give it out, it said 39.
Well, maybe he hit the button by mistake.
Yeah.
I'll take either one. The 34 or the 39. Either one. Did you give me something, Mike?
He said 7. Kings Mountain by 7.
Okay, I'll go East Lincoln by 3.
Okay.
I was thinking Kings Mountain by 3. I think it's almost a toss-up.
I think East Lincoln is the better team.
Okay.
And how many points? Okay.
I'm going. How
many points do you think Kings Mountain will score? East Lincoln's biggest game of the year, the most points they allowed all year was 12 to Hickory. Every other game has been 7 or less.
I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be like 21,
last night wasn't.
21-14.
So, yeah, it's going to be low. It's going to be low. Which favors East Lincoln?
14-12.
Yeah. Which favors East Lincoln? I think with that defense they've got, the lower the better.
Bob says Kings Mountain by 6, 20-14.
I said Kings Mountain by 7.
So everybody's saying it's going to be less than 20 points on either side.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Weddington and AC Reynolds, boy, that's a matchup for the ages. Going to take place in Asheville.
I'll take AC.
God, every time I pick against Weddington, they win. every single time. Maiden and Reedsville, I love this. I love this matchup. I would have had Burns as my number 1 team in the 2A West to make it till last night. I think Reedsville passed them just the way they dominated Chase. If Maiden goes up there and gets in a shootout, they might win that game. I think the lower scoring it is favors Reedsville, but the more points there are on the board, probably favors Maiden in that one. Looking forward to it. South Point's got Eastern Guilford, just in case you're wondering, and Andrews plays Drone. Andrews was my pick to win the 1A at the beginning. They're still playing. I like to see Drone beat them, but I don't know.
At Andrews?
Well, I think so. They're 13-0, so I think it will be at Andrews. They don't do it. They're not got them on here like by seeding right. I guess that's too much work. They just popped them on there real quick to get them.
Right.
We've enjoyed it. Thank you for tuning in to Sports Talk this morning. Don't forget, we will have you a high school football game next Friday night. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Have a good one.